Afternoon, everyone. This is match 7 of the 1975 Cricket World Cup between the United Emirates and Kenya at the Oval. This is the outcome of what was an absolute terrific match. There's the outcome of the match. UAE versus Kenya at the Oval. We'll go into the detail in a moment, but Kenya won the toss, selected the bat on a beautiful pitch. We saw a dreadful pitch at Nottingham yesterday, which Holland and India played on in a poor quality match, but this was the best game of the tournament so far. Kenya are absolutely sensational with the bat. They made 296 for 5 in their 50 overs, 2 for Shiraz Ali, it was out earlier. Then a very good partnership on 99 between Samuel Wasambi and Ramesh Shefri, 49 and 60 score respectively. 16 for Shiraz Sumar, but the main man, the first ever 100 by an associate batsman in World Cup cricket, the fourth 100 of the tournament, 113 of just 88 deliveries from Shiraz Sumar. A wonderful innings, one not out from Mohammad Quasi, 51 from the captain Halil Shah of 40 deliveries. He got the 50 off the final ball of the innings. 296 for 5 from their 50 overs, Kenya, in an absolute pulsating effort. 42 for 1, 35 for 1, 51 for 1, 57 for 0, 55 for 0, 56 for 2. The UAE bowlers went for. Should also point out, they dropped 5 catches with United Emirates. Their catching was absolutely appalling, and their fielding wasn't that much better either. Absolutely appalling effort from the UAE. 5 drop catches. They should have probably got Kenya out for 230, but my word. In response, it was a breathtaking effort. 10, 71, 98. Remember, they were 191 for 2, and they were after about 31.2 overs, and they were cruising. And then the Kenyan fast bowlers came back pretty strongly. They lost in the end 7 wickets for 57 runs in the final 18.2 overs, you need to say. 71, 98, 17, 5, 13, 8, 22, 4 and 12 not out and 5 not out. But they were cruising, and then they just came back so strongly in an epic effort. 274 for 9 from their 50 overs in what was the game of the tournament so far. The bowlers, 42 for 1 for Faisal Ali, 45 for 0 for Ramesh Shefri, 36 for 2 for Mohammad Quasi, 50 for 2 for Sufkar Ali, 51 for 1 for Peru Nana, and 50 for 2 also for John Nangada, in what was an absolute epic game of cricket. In the end, 274 for 9. This is the final outcome. Kenya made 296 for 5 after letting the bat first on a really good hard wicket. Well, wonderful outfield. 296 for 5. UAE were in control, and then they just lost it towards the end. 274 for 9 from their 50 overs. Kenya winning a wonderful game of cricket by 22 runs. The man of the match for his 113 off 88 deliveries was Shiraz Sumar, the 4th 100 of the World Cup so far. This is what it means for Group 1 now. Kenya on the board. They're 4th in the table. They hold that 4th quarter-final place. So they've played 2 games. Tomorrow's match is going to be Sri Lanka versus Rhodesia. Sri Lanka hoping to improve on their wonderful batting performance against Australia, where they fell 54 runs short. I should point out, by the way, that 274 for 9 is the joint highest score, batting second in the World Cup, from Sri Lanka's 274 for 7 the other day against Australia. Rhodesia looking to also produce a good performance after they put in a good batting performance against England the other day by scoring 206 for 6. That should be an interesting contest between these two sides. Tomorrow. If it's anything, if the Sri Lanka-Rhodesia match is as good as today's match, it's going to be a wonderful contest. I should point out, I usually say we're going to have a look at the star players, but unfortunately on Brian Lara Cricket, you cannot have a look unfortunately on Brian Lara cricket, you cannot look or secure, as we'll see now. Obviously, nothing's changed because you cannot, as you can see, you cannot put players from associate members and get their performance tracking on Brian Lara cricket. That's probably one of the few negatives about this game, is that if you're an associate player, you cannot add associate players to performance tracking. It's only players from test playing nations that can be added to performance tracking on the game. But I mean, let's have a look at that match. I mean, Rhodesia versus Sri Lanka tomorrow. If it's as good as today's game, what a game we're going to have tomorrow. I mean, people will say, why are associate members taking part in the World Cup? That's why. That was the best game of the tournament. A 22-run win for Kenya in an absolute pulsating game. There's 23,500 the overall, so there was only 8,000 in the ground. But what an atmosphere it produced. And if the associate members are going to produce matches like that, obviously you're going to see lopsided matches when they play the major test playing nations. But if they're going to produce matches like that, then this is why associate members need to play in the World Cup. And my goodness me, Kenya and the United Arab Emirates have produced a wonderful contest. The best game of the tournament, the best quality game of the tournament. And a century from Shiraz. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the next match will be match 8 of the World Cup. Sri Lanka versus Rhodesia. Both teams looking to get their first win of the tournament and continue what both sides look very good in the batting department. Sri Lanka will want to improve their bowling, and so will Rhodesia. But until then, for match 8 of the World Cup between Rhodesia and Sri Lanka, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.